ended up doing ring toss or relays or whatever instead, kids would actually get their parents to call the school to complain. I'm not lying, really. Okay, so there's me and Jimmy trying to lie as low as possible while our classmates worked out whatever deep-seated aggressions they had on a purple rubber ball. We were always picked last, of course. Not because we were the worst athletes, but because the team captains were always afraid that our attitudes would infect the rest of the team's spirit, and therefore, oh my God, cause them to lose. But since we were always the last ones picked, Jimmy and I were never on the same team. We had never spoken to each other before. Jimmy had moved to Bracksville from Michigan at the beginning of the year, but as the only kickball infidels, we obviously knew who the other was. He was the skinny kid with short black hair and really blue eyes, and I was the blonde dork who was obsessed with musicals, especially Rent and Assassins at the time. But after all the fifth graders were required to learn the American Sign Language alphabet during Difficulty Appreciation Week, Jimmy and I started commiserating across the kickball diamond by sneaking hand gestures. When one of the team captains caught on to what we were doing, she complained to the teacher that we were plotting to ruin the game. Then Jimmy communicated his feelings toward the captain in a different kind of sign language and got us both sent to the principal's office. We've been inseparable ever since. Well, sort of, until a few months ago, which, by the way, was after 4 blissful years of best friendship. Dozens of slumber parties, hundreds of nicknames, and thousands of inside jokes later, Jimmy, like all normal human beings in Bracksville, started school at Bracksville High. I, on the other hand, was shipped off to Our Lady of the Oaks School for Girls. Yup. Oaks, girls, Our Lady of. No, this is not 1953, as the name might suggest, but the school definitely still thinks it is. You see, my family is Catholic, and my parents both went to Catholic schools, so they firmly believe, based on experience, that a single-sex high school education in a Catholic setting is the most fertile ground for a budding intellect that they can provide. Did you get that? Single-sex. Fertile budding. Needless to say, I wasn't going to submit to the malicious will of 2 religious zealots without a struggle. But after a number of shrieking fights, 2 hunger strikes, and more than a few calls to social services later, I was forced to accept the tragic reality that every 14-year-old in this land of so-called freedom has, in fact, none. I was going to Our Lady of the Oaks, and there was nothing I could do about it. So, the end of last year was a time of tearful goodbyes, hysterically scribbled yearbook notes, and desperate promises to keep in touch. Okay, maybe I took it a little far. Most people assumed I was getting shipped off to a Romanian orphanage or something. But the pain of separation was real. I was like a monarch butterfly about to be pinned to a musty old corkboard. A musty old corkboard called Our Lady of the Freakin' Oaks. Let me give you a visual, just so you understand the true depths of my suffering. To get to Our Lady from Bracksville, you have to drive 25 minutes in the opposite direction of the city. Mind you, Bracksville is already a 30-minute commute to Cleveland. You do the math. The school itself is on about 2 acres in the middle of millions of acres of corn. Not the pretty rolling hills of corn on the labels of vegetable shortening, but the flat, dry, cricket-ridden cornfields of Ohio. Field of dreams this was not. In fact, when the school was built in the mid-1950s, in that oh-so-pretty style of beige brick and turquoise metal panels,